Welcome back to more Lord of the Rings Online. I am in Osgiliath, and I'm going to continue doing some quests here. Let me get on my pony. So I'm looking for some rangers, and then I still have to kill a bunch of orcs. So I'm probably let me go down here to these quest rings. And let me head south. There's a good string of them there. I'm not going to stop and fight every single orc along the way. I need to kill 7 more, but I'll try to get them closer to my objectives. Let me take these stairs up here. What is this? Just another corpse. And some wargs. Alright, so I'm close to something here. There you go.
Ethereum is crawling with foes.
So, Moblung sends me to the surface to search for arms, and now he wishes for me to return just as soon as I find a secure position. Faramir would not have let us hide in the culverts and cower while our people die. I will return when I finish my task, and not a moment sooner. If I should die, it will be in the aid of my brothers, not backed into a corner like a hunted beast. The host of Minas Morgul has no shortage of workers and warriors, and I would deprive them of any advantage that may be left behind. Aid me, and I shall return.
Ethereum is crawling with foes.
I am in a dire position, Kippen. The armory suffered greatly in the assault on the western half of the city, and now only its walls stand as a reminder of what was once there. When we still held the western shore, we stored a great deal of weapons within the armory. Yet now the orcs and trolls roam its ruins, and our weapon stores are exposed. I have not been able to get close enough to gather many, but perhaps you can. If you return these weapons to me, I shall be able to hasten my return to the tunnels.
The Rangers will not surrender Osgiliath.
The host of Minas Morgul intends to siege the White City, but we do not yet know when the attack shall begin. We observe the orcs hauling supplies to the Great Bridge, and we have heard a thundering from above the tunnels, but we do not know their vile designs. They have built several siege weapons on the western bank, but the bridge is broken and cannot bear the weight of the Mumakil or their siege weapons on the eastern bank. I do not believe that they will strike until their weapons can cross the river unhindered. If they have found a new way to traverse the broken span, it could spell doom for Minas Tirith. Search the Great Bridge and tell me of any orcish craftwork that you discover. A little bit of an insubordinate soldier here. He's been commanded to go back, and yet he refuses. Alright, let me figure out where I'm going. Let me take a look. Do I want to go to the... Yeah, let me just head towards the quest ring. And you know what? I might kill a couple orcs here. I don't know if this is an orc or a goblin. They look like goblins, but they count as orcs, I guess. Alright, so how many was that? Is that enough? Is that everybody? Surely now. There you go. And it's 10 of them. I am rooted. So there's another little quest ring right here. I guess I just missed it. A Gondorian soldier clutches at his wounds and beckons you.
Captain Faramir is not here. He was pursued by a terrible apparition.
You are a friend? I am Inthal, soldier of Gondor. The pain is still overwhelming, but I feel it is less keenly to know that there are still good folk fighting to defend the city. Captain Faramir is not here, friend. He went north with Gelnor, but they were pursued by a terrible apparition, and I do not know what became of them. It was a man, I think, but tall and clad in armor. My blood ran cold at the sight of him. The orcs followed his command, and they named him Gothmog. I would never question Faramir's courage or his resolve, but I hope for his sake and Gondor's that he remained 2 steps ahead of this terrible commander. Now, I can't remember I can't remember if Gothmog was in the books, but obviously he was the orc leader in the movies. I want to say he was not in the books, but maybe I'm wrong on that. Gothmog was actually the Lord of the Balrogs back in the First and Second Age before all the events of Middle-earth. Or, not the events of Middle-earth, but, you know, the events of Lord of the Rings. Wait, I have to defeat more forces in Osgiliath? Okay. Well, let me just fight this guy, why not? I think I am... I don't know what the orange is. What's the orange for? Bracing for defeat. So collect barrels and weapons. Well, let me loot the corpse. Why not? I'm here. There we go. There are some weapons. Let me get out of here. Let me fight some orcs because they're pretty well concentrated. I am lagging. I'm getting a good chunk of lag. Okay, that should be all the orcs. Cool music here. And okay, I need to go back this way. Missing 2 barrels that are deeper in. Okay, very good. And then I'm probably going to go to the bridge before I head back to that ranger that sent me on these quests. That way I can turn both of them in at once and not have to go back and forth like a fool. Nobody likes to do that. There's a Mumakil here. This looks like a roving threat, actually. I'm gonna try not to aggro it. The Morgul host has constructed a crude span allowing great beasts and siege weapons to cross. Okay. Let me look again, see where I'm at. Alright, let me go back to the other side. I guess I'm just gonna go back to the guy and turn in these quests before I move on to the other rangers. Makes more sense, keeps it a little bit more organized. You know, looking at the map of Osgiliath, I thought it was gonna be very difficult to navigate around here. Very maze-like, but it's actually not so bad. If you just kind of go in the general direction, it tends to work out. Except this time. Because I'm in the... stuck in the armor. Well, I could probably go through here. And then down here. Yeah, so you just go in the general direction. And it seems to figure itself out in the end.
Osgiliath is crawling with foes.
Ah yes, these will do nicely. With so many foes surrounding us, we will need a larger supply of blades, for even the strongest sword shall eventually wear. You have my thanks.
We must protect Gondor at all cost.
This does not bode well for us, or the White City, Kippen. Faramir and Boromir threw down the Great Bridge when the last enemy tried to sack Osgiliath, but it appears that the orcs have found a way to rebuild it, and allow it to bear the weight of enormous siege weapons. It is no easy task to break a bridge, my friend. Let us return to the tunnel soon, and think about how we might slow their advance. Okay. Next, I am going all the way north. I guess this is a good time to ask you to please subscribe to the channel. Little commercial break here. Keeps me motivated to keep making these videos and bring more games and improve the quality. Do everything I can to make it better for you guys. But more importantly, it helps the YouTube algorithm so more people can see these videos and enjoy it like you do. I'm assuming you enjoy it anyway. There's also links to my Discord and Twitter. The community is on those platforms as well, so be sure to check that out. So I'm searching for something. But you know what? Let me just go to the quest ring. He's on the other side there. Let me see if I can come through here. Palace of Eldacar. You have found Gelnor, but he is alone. There's no sign of Faramir.
Many of the Orcish forces are led by a terrible man, clad all in armor. He is Gothmog.
You there. You are a friend, I can tell from your dress and bearing. You have to help me. I was separated from Faramir and sustained this injury, and it keeps me from doing something that I must. Many of the Orcish forces are led by a terrible man clad in armor. He is Gothmog, and they cower at his approach, but they follow his commands. Runners bring messages from him throughout the city, and I saw one of these runners perish beneath many of the falling stones near a fountain to the east. I was injured before I could dig through the rubble to find the orders. I have overheard the orcs speaking of a mighty weapon they plan to use against the White City. Go to the fountain and search through the stones for the dead message bearer. The message he carries might give us knowledge of this weapon. I'm assuming it's going to be Grond, the massive battering ram of doom. Gotta find this orc. Man, I'm getting kind of a bad frame rate here. Half-troll executioner. I don't want to fight him. Let's see. More rubble here. There's a red dot on my mini-map. Half-troll blade master. You find a parchment clutched in the dead hand in the buried stones. I can't actually read it myself. Yeah, level 102. The first green enemy I've seen in a long time. Okay, I forgot how to get back to him. I guess it's through here. Through the palace. No, what am I doing? Am I being crazy? Oh, it's pointing me to a different location. I don't know what I'm doing. I got a little confused there. I just assumed I had to go back to the same spot to turn in that epic. But the orc message needs to go to the culverts, not back to that guy that gave me the quest.
This better be important. I am quite busy.
You are fortunate that you did not bear the markings of the Morgul host, stranger. I also would have struck you down before you dared to step so close. I shall heed Mablung's order in time, but if you wish to count yourself among us, you shall aid me first. For there are far more pressing matters at hand. What shall it be, Warden?
Is there no end to enemy forces invading our land?
Have you passed through the square, stranger? I doubt you have, for your head still stands upon your neck. They gather the imprisoned in the theater to the south and then drag them out into the square to be tortured and beheaded. They play with the bodies and they toss around the heads, laughing at those horrible orcish tongues. After a time, they burn the corpses, but the heads they keep, and I do not know to what vile end, nor do I wish to. This is war, Kippen, make no mistake of that. If you are to be one of us, you must know the horrors we have endured. Make for the square and free any of our men that yet live, and slay any of those trollmen that stand in your way. Pretty horrific. Alright, so I gotta free some of these guys here. That's why they're called executioners, huh? Now I get it. You know, I'd rather be in the stocks than on the stretching rack. My God. Look at that poor soul. Let me keep going around here. There are 8 of these. I'm gonna need 3 more after this one. What is this? It's like a gladiator arena. Alright, I'll kill this guy. Why not? Gotta kill at least one of them, right? When they're all gray and I get to run up by them. For cinematic purposes, you know, I need to do at least a little bit of combat. Okay, there you go. That's all of them. Time to turn this in. Yeah, my frame rate is a little stuttery in here. Not terrible, though.
Is there no end to enemy forces invading our land?
It pains me to see few left alive, but any who are spared that fate have truly been granted a new life. You have my thanks, Kippen.
What news have you?
A fellow ranger and I were to scout the square, but we became separated. His name is of no import to you, for you did not know him as I have. I saw him scout near the old palace of King Eldakar, but then he was lost from sight and I had to fall back. The palace is a grim place, and I believe the enemy seeks to use it as a stronghold for his servants, the Nazgul. They spend much of their time up above on the vile beasts, but I have seen them pass among the forces here in Osgiliath, and even the orcs recoil at their approach. If he has gone into that palace, he is likely dead, but I wish to know for certain. Search the palace and return to me here when you have finished. Only then shall we speak of me returning to the tunnels. Alright, lots of stuff here going on. Yeah, I figured I could go into that palace that I rode by earlier, but I imagined there was going to be a quest in there, so that's why I waited, and I'm glad I did. Let's check it out, though. You have not found the ranger, but air grows heavy and dreadful near the palace. You see the crumpled body of a man in the distance. Ah, I can't click on it. There, right there. Strange wounds mark the man's lifeless body, and a blunted Morgul blade lies nearby. Not good. So I guess that was it. That was the quest. Nothing else in here. Okay. Let's roll. So, for those of you who do play the game, is your frame rate a little low in Osgiliath as well? Or is it just me? Because there are a lot of assets here, so I think it's on the game side and not my computer. But I'd like to know, for research purposes.
What news have you?
You should have known better than to tread so close to the enemy's holdings, even if knowledge of their movement could have been gained. Do not think me a callous man, Kippen. It is hard to muster much feeling after seeing so many of one's friends murdered by these evil wraiths. Okay. So I need to find one more ranger. And let's see. So there's the culvert, but I need to go to the House of Healing. Yeah, I'm going to skip the culvert for now. So I can turn in everything together. No, I need to go to that great bridge again. So yeah, let me keep going south. Okay. Is that a roving thread or is that something else? It seems like a roving thread to me. Okay, all the way to the east and then a little north. Let me go in through here, actually. Alright, the fourth and final ranger.
The Rangers will not surrender us, Osgiliath.
You startled me, stranger. I have almost finished my patrol, but I could use another aid if I am to quicken my pace and return to the culverts. I promise you I shall be more gracious companion than any others you might find roaming the City of Stars.
Ethereum is crawling with foes.
I will soon make for the tunnels below, but first I would ask your aid in recovering more hidden stores from the old houses of healing just over there. A few of the Easterlings began to search it after they lost my trail, and I had not yet finished my task. If you have made it this deep into the city, you must either be a deft traveler or a practiced warrior, either of which I would welcome to my side. Within the ruined houses, you will find stores of simple rations and athelas. Both of these are of great value to us, and I will see that you are rewarded if you return them to me. Let's go inside. Lots of stuff here for sure. Just a gather fest in here, man. Just grabbing everything. There's not even any enemies. Thought there would be some of the Easterlings he alluded to.
Ithilien is crawling with foes.
It is fortunate that the Easterlings have not yet picked the old houses clean, for we shall have much use of these goods. I shall see them return to the rest of my men in the tunnels. Thank you, Kippen.
Ithilien is crawling with foes.
Kippen, one of my fellows is lost, and I fear what may have befallen him. The Easterlings spotted him as we moved here, and our paths diverged as they gave chase. When last I saw him, he made the eastern bridge into the old Dome of the Stars, but I hope his pursuers did not drive him there, for all manner of evil things have taken hold of it. You are a hardy warden, and might be able to bear the dread that surrounds the dome. Will you search for him there? I will not abandon him until I am assured of his fate, but death has been a stranger to our man in these dark days. Has not been a stranger. Okay. Little bit to the northwest. Roman Daisel Square. There's an Easterling sorcerer. I love these Easterling tents, man. They're pretty cool. You have found the bridge and should now search for the lost ranger. The Dome of the Stars. Let me fight one of these guys, because why not? Is that him right there? Yes, it is. The ranger's body is battered and contorted as if he were dropped from a great height. Oh, yep, he might have been. Not good. Just kind of look around a little bit. Just want to do a little bit of exploring. Seems like a pretty self-contained space here. Interesting. Okay, let me get out of here. Let me go turn in some quests. Wait, am I lost? I think the exit is this way. No, I went too far. Right there. There we go. Yeah, I don't know. Everything has felt kind of laggy in Eastern Gondor. And I really can't tell if it's me or the game. I really think it's the game, though. But I don't want to just make that assumption. So yeah, that's why I want to know your guys' experience in Eastern Gondor. Do you notice stuff like this where the frame rate's a little low? Or it takes a long time for assets to load, especially the horse? I'd like to know. Okay.
We must protect Gondor at all cost.
I thought as much, Kippen. You need not say more. LOTRO shakes his head. Those fell beasts and their dark riders seem to delight in dropping the wounded from above, man and orc alike. Let us hope that no others suffer the fate of this sorry person. And finally, I can return to the culverts. I've done a lot actually here. Well, maybe not that much. I did quests for an episode and a half here. But we kind of went all over. We helped a bunch of rangers. Did a lot of stuff. Alright, the culvert is just down here. Oh, leg breaks. Wow, that is a lot of quest rings here.
I cannot read much of this message.
J.R.R. takes the parchment from you and reads the crude writing. I cannot read much of this message, but I can understand enough of it to know that it means trouble. Let me do physical mitigation.
Our enemies have brought a great weapon to Osgiliath, a mighty ram called Grond. Ithilien is crawling with foes.
Ah, you have my thanks, Kippen. I see a few of my men have returned already, and I am certain that the rest shall follow soon. Yet I know little of the fate of my captain Faramir, and I shall not count him among the dead while he remains lost. I have a mind to search for him within Osgiliath, for none that survived our flight into the tunnel saw him escape. If you will join me and my men for the search of Faramir, you are welcome among us, as long as your journey allows it. Okay, so that is going to do it for this episode. In the next one, as you can see, there are just quest rings galore, and I am going to be delighting in that next time. See you then. Be sure to leave a like on the video. I appreciate it.
Thanks for stopping by the Renaissance Gaming Monastery. I hope you join our community on Discord and Twitter. These videos are produced with a lot of hard work and love. If you think they're worth $1, I'd be grateful for your contribution. You can send a thanks donation or become a member on YouTube. You can also support through PayPal, Patreon, or even with cryptocurrency. All links are in the description. See you on the next video.